Prepare to journey into the macabre, where reality blurs with nightmares. This is the Paramurder Cast, where the unseen becomes the unforgettable. Now to your hosts, Dave, Daniel, and CJ. Let the horrors begin.
Wow. Okay. So, silent screaming, not good. I almost lost my shit there, man.
Everybody was trying not to laugh.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, don't do that.
Welcome
anymore,
to
please.
episode 486 of the Paramurder Podcast.
232, right?
933.
Sounds good.
Oh, we're on
All
7.
right. Anyway,
Episode 7.
so looks like we're covering Edmund Kemper today.
Old Ed. I like Ed, man. So I did think of like a question I was going to throw us for a loop, like right off the show.
Oh,
So, and I think it's a very good question when it comes to the fact that we're going to be covering serial killers and a lot of murders and stuff.
okay.
So
Yeah.
just a quick question at the start, which if people do listen and you want to write in, we'll have our contact info in the show notes. And I would like if you actually wrote in, said your opinion on it. But do you guys think that serial killers are made or are they born that way?
I think they're made.
Think they're made?
I think they're made too.
100%.
However, there is some genetic predispositions that don't help.
I was going to say, I think I firmly sit right in the middle. I think when it comes to that question, because I hear it a lot when you watch any type of documentary on true crime or anything that comes with a murder, but I hear it a lot. And I think that there is a like very valid case for both sides of it. I think that half the people seem like they were made and then the other half seem like they were born that way.
Well, I don't know. There was some college professor somewhere did the study. I don't know if it was psychopaths or sociopaths, but he put himself in the group and found out he was a sociopath or a psychopath, but he wasn't a killer.
Is that the part of the brain that he said that was active?
Right.
I can't remember that guy's name. Yeah, we'll have
Can't
to look that
remember
up.
either.
and
We'll
put
look
in
it
the
up,
show
but,
notes.
I don't know exactly who it is. Well, I don't know exactly who it is, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like he's obviously got the genetic predisposition to it, but he didn't turn out to be a killer. So, you know, nature versus nurture. Nurture won out there one.
Yeah. So if you're born with that genetic predisposition, it also just depends on if your parents beat the shit out of you and shove you in a basement cellar.
Because there's plenty of people who went through shit in their childhood and they turned out great. They turned out all right.
Yeah.
So
I can agree with that. I don't know, but if you're listening and you have an opinion on it, just go ahead and write in. I will put all of our emails in the show notes. And I think that's a good question to just start on because when it comes to true crime, that's one that's asked pretty avidly.
I'm sitting here thinking about it. I still feel like they're made. I really do. I feel like everybody has impulsive thoughts, intrusive thoughts. Everybody's batted around an idea of doing something stupid or even talked amongst friends. Like, I don't like this person so much that I could just kill them.
Yeah.
You know, I think we were talking the other day about fucking messing with my neighbors and just for stupid, petty reasons, but they were all pretty much things that I wouldn't do, but just kind of daydreaming. But when you're talking about doing something and actually committing to doing something are completely different things.
I can agree. I mean,
yeah, I just think it's a combination of both. That being said, Ed Kemper definitely got the shit stick on both sides of that.
absolutely.
Genetics and nurture. Fucking wow.
Yeah. That man had a rough childhood.
Yeah. And I can agree that we're pretty much products of our environment. So genetic disposition, I guess, whatever you want to call it, could have a lot to do with it. But I feel like it still ultimately comes down to the person. I mean, you're still responsible for the choices you make.
I can agree with that.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely responsible for what choices you make. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a good question. So I figure we'll let people write in about it. I'm going to try to come up with a question like every show, whether it be something to do with the paranormal when we're covering those cases or something to do with true crime. That way we have something to kick off the show with and talk about.
Oh,
So-
and I'm just also would like to throw out that I'm very unqualified for any opinion that I hold.
I think we all are. I mean, it goes without saying,
That's why
we are
it's an
not
opinion.
professional radio voices We are doing this for shits and giggles, for us to kind of hang out and something to do. So, and if we just so happen to have people that are like, yeah, that's kind of fucking enjoyable, and I'll go and actually listen to those guys, then so be it. And if everybody else wants to write in the comments and say we fucking suck, I'm okay with that too, whatever. So, yeah, my opinion means nothing. It's just interesting shit that I fucking read too much, and I figured we'd go ahead and talk about it. All right, do we want to cut into kind of reading the opener? I did the best I can is writing, but I'm not very good at it yet. I should improve. I'm
going to be honest. I got this picture of Ed Kemper right here, but I've also got a picture of Joe Pesci old on the other side. I don't know why I got that up, but
Joe Pesci and Ed Kemper.
Joe Pesci. Definitely not Ed Kemper. All right, so Edmund Kemper.
Edmund Emil Kemper III was born on December 18th, 1948 in Burbank, California, to Clarnell and Edmund Kemper II. His parents' relationship was fraught with problems, and their tumultuous marriage profoundly influenced young Edmund's formative years. And it's sad that I write this shit, but I'll be the one that fucking fucks up reading because I was never good.
That's all right.
But Edmund Kemper II was a World War II vet and was often absent from the family home, leaving Clarnell Kemper to raise their children, Edmund and his two sisters.
Kemper's mother, Clarnell, exhibited harsh and abusive behaviors, particularly towards him. She belittled and emotionally abused him, often denigrating his intelligence and appearance. Clarnell struggled with mental health issues and had a penchant for humiliating her son, locking him in a dark basement as a form of punishment. She once recounted that she knew Kemper was destined for a dark path and even shared this belief with mental health professionals. As a child, Kemper displayed troubling signs. He would perform cruel acts on animals, notably by dismembering cats, a disturbing precursor to his later violent acts against humans. His fascination with the morbid and his growing resentment towards his mother intensified as he reached adolescence.
All right. And a quick side note, like I added, I did want to point out one of the most weird quotes that I've ever seen, which was a quote by Ed's father. He said that suicide missions in wartime and atomic bomb testings were nothing compared to living with his mother. So,
and he married her?
Yeah, and he married this woman.
Wow.
And like I said, he spent time in special forces. So to come back and say that war times were easier to deal with than your own wife.
I mean, back in those days, till death do us part, they took that pretty seriously.
During war times, a lot of those guys lost their wives, did they not? What did they call the notes they sent? Dear John letters?
Yeah. Well, well, Dear John is when your wife like leaves you.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, that's what I
anybody
was
can get Dear
saying.
John.
Oh, I thought you meant like and died. No,
Yeah.
if anything, the husbands were the ones dying.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I think there is another word for it. I think you're right.
But I feel like Dear John is more, recent.
Yeah.
I don't feel like Dear John happened a lot back in World War II.
I thought it did. I thought most of
I
those guys
figured it would
actually
be
lost their
more,
wives.
you'd think, because
They left them.
you had to write a letter. You couldn't text them.
I think it became more prevalent in the
Right.
Vietnam era.
Like, I don't think they were texting back then, right?
Yeah. You also had very limited options back then. There was no internet to.
How do people break up these days?
You married basically who was near you.
Kiss other people on
Kiss other people
TikTok?
on the lips.
kiss other people on TikTok and
That's
post
it. Yeah.
Kiss other people. on the
I don't know. So it seems like we see, though, in the first part with his early life, that Ed shows all the early signs of serial killer. They all like to kill cats for some reason. Is it just because there's so many cats that are just in abundance?
Well, cats are typically one of the wild animals that you can catch pretty easily.
Yeah, I was going to say, they all...
Pretty much every other wild animal takes a little bit of effort. When cats, you can just get them to come up to you.
That is a curiosity, though. You
My
don't hear...
grandfather,
And nobody wants to be known as a dog killer. So
my grandfather used to tell me stories about how he'd put a bunch of kittens in a potato sack and take them to a river and drown them.
That's definitely disturbing.
Yeah. And he's probably killed people, though. He was a Korean War veteran.
I was getting ready to say, I did meet him, and he
But-
was pretty shell-shocked.
I don't know if shell-shocked.
You don't think that was PTSD?
No.
I definitely think that was like a small precursor to some type of PTSD or shell shock, for sure. I mean, he was like stuck humming
Oh,
the
yeah.
entire time.
I think, maybe that could have been. I don't know if that was like a coping mechanism or not. I don't know. I guess I never knew him back then.
I mean,
There was an issue around the Korean War where I was not alive, so I didn't get to really know him. He didn't like to talk about it either.
Yeah. Anybody who lived through major wars, I think they have a right to be a little mentally disturbed. Those were some bad times. Generation went through some things.
yeah, I guess so. Not quite akin to being locked in a dark basement, though. And you got to remember, there was no TV. There might have been a radio in the basement, but would it have worked in the basement? No TV? You're just there with your thoughts. Mind-numbing silence. I'd
Yeah.
probably kill a cat.
I mean, Kemper's mom put him underneath there. And I think those are those old, they're like dry cellars. That's where you used to put stuff prior to fridges because it was in the kitchen. So the cellar
Well,
he was locked
most
into
babies.
was in the kitchen.
I feel like most basements stemmed out of the kitchen those days.
Well, it was literally like a cellar trap, like one of those doors that just lift up in the middle of the kitchen
you mean
floor.
like
A crawl
Trap door.
space?
Yeah, well, it's not a crawl space. They used to use cellars back then prior to fridges. You would go underneath and you would put your food and stuff underneath the ground. That way it'd actually stay cool.
Right, but
Keep
was
your
it, what is
popsicles in
this,
the
was it
cellar.
a cellar or a basement? Because there is a difference.
It's like a cellar.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
Locked
she would,
him in a dark cellar.
yeah, he used to tell stories about when she would put him in there, he would actually run across the floor trying to beat the light from before she closed the door so he could actually pull the cord and have light down there because there was one light and it was like in the middle of the room.
Yeah, see, like that's why I say we're like products of our environment, but I don't know if we're predispositioned to be killers because I feel like
Did she ever take the light bulb out though?
No,
I
no.
feel like that's what I would do
She would
if I
put
was
him.
locking somebody in the basement.
Yeah. Well, she would. So her entire reasoning is she always thought that Edmund was going to do something to the girls because she said that she favored the girls. Okay. So like they would have full, good dinners and everything, and Edmund would just get the scraps and stuff. But she was always worried that Edmund would do something to the girls. So at night she would lock him up. She would put him down in there and drag the kitchen table on top of it. So he couldn't come over and push the kitchen or push the, door to get back out of it. So he would be trapped in there until the next day.
you'd just be down there furiously masturbating.
I mean, that goes back to that nurture thing. I mean, like, what did people do back then? They went outside. They played cops and robbers with stick guns and everything. You take that away from a kid, and they're gonna be fucked up.
Yeah. I think just locking your child up in general is enough to cause stuff. I mean, we were just talking about it prior to starting the show, but Gypsy, who just got out, while she was a product of Munchausen syndrome, I mean, her biggest thing that caused her to blow up when they kind of go over it on the show is the fact that she was restricted from doing anything at all, from going outside, from, like her mother was in control of when they went outside, where they went, who they saw. So I think when you take that away from somebody, I mean, you are creating a monster,
My mindset of it is kind of like against the nature versus nurture and products of our environment thing is, do you think she would have done that in a different setting, like life setting? Like,
I don't. I think that her husband leaving caused it because she belittled Edmund the entire time, basically treating him like that was her husband who left. I mean, she constantly belittled him, talking about his height, how he was big, dumb, and goofy, and no woman would ever love him. So I'm pretty sure she projected like all her hates for her ex-husband right onto her son.
that's rough.
That's probably why her husband preferred suicide missions in wartime.
Yeah. And an atomic bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see like suicide missions, like a girl getting on your nerves to where you're like, I'd rather go do something that's much more dangerous.
Yeah, I'd probably stay away from a woman with a bad attitude like that.
But the atomic bomb, that's...
Of course, poor Ed just couldn't leave. He didn't have that option.
Nope.
I mean, kids could work back then, but what kind of work could they do?
None.
Still
Hardly.
be homeless.
You couldn't even work in my day. I remember back in my day when I turned 14 trying to get a job.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And if anybody needed money, trust me, it was me because I was poor.
So,
Poor.
yeah, well, speaking of poor Ed not being able to work, being locked in the basement at 10 years old, Kemper's dark inclinations began to escalate. He buried the family cat alive and erected a cross above the grave. Alarming as this behavior was, it was the murder of both his paternal grandparents that marked his entry into true criminality. On August 27th, 1964, when Edmund Kemper was just 15 years old, he committed his first two murders by killing his grandparents, Maud and Edmund Emil Kemper Sr. in a fit of rage. Wow.
Yeah.
That's killed his grandparents.
Yeah.
15.
So he said he wanted to see what it was like to watch her die. So his grandpa had bought him a .22 rifle that they used avidly, and he went to go to the grocery store. And the grandmother, from everything that I read, she pretty much took over exactly where Clarnell left off. The minute that Edmund left and ended up with his grandparents, she took over the abuse.
15 or 14 and left his mom.
Yeah, he
lived with his grandparents.
So he ran away and went to his dad's house, and his dad already had a new family, new wife, new kids. And he pretty much said, you can't live here, but you can go live with my parents. So he took off to live with his grandparents.
So his dad came back from the war and it's like, fuck that bitch. I'm not going to live with her anymore.
Yeah, he hit the restart button.
War was better.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
not going to come back. Opposite Dear John letter.
Dear Clarnell letter.
Dear Clarnell.
Yeah, but he went to live with his father's grandparents. I'm pretty sure that's who they were, is that his father's parents. So the grandmother, Maud, she took over exactly where Clarnell left off with the mental abuse, kind of degrading him. He did love his grandpa. I mean, that was the thing that they talk about, is he was actually a very big fan of his grandfather. He killed his grandfather so he would not see his grandmother dead. He didn't want to put that on him. He shot Maud in the back of the head while she was writing her children's book. She was a writer, and she was writing a children's book. And he walked in and shot her in the back of the head with a .22 rifle. And then when his grandpa pulled back in, he walked out and shot his grandpa. So that way he didn't have to come in and see his wife dead in the kitchen.
So Ed was arguing with his grandmother, grabs a rifle, shoots her. And as grandpa's coming back up, oh, I don't want my grandpa to see my grandmother dead. Better kill him too.
Yep.
Yeah. Not really something you could just hide under a rug or something.
Yeah.
And
so
then he went,
where's grandma? Don't know.
And buried him in the house's backyard. Did he put crosses up over those ones too, like the cat?
No, I'm pretty sure he told on himself like immediately. You'll notice that over the times, I feel like Edmund, while he was mentally disturbed, I feel like he did try to reach out multiple times, or he was scared of the consequences and just immediately told on himself.
So looking at it, the war's over. He really disliked his grandmother and just, couldn't go to war to kill someone. So kill the grandmother, kill the grandfather, get, confronted about it, immediately confess. And, wow.
Yeah.
That seems like some sort of mental issues there.
Yeah, Edmund definitely was stacking them up.
Could be like rage-based regrets, you get angry, you do stupid things. 20 minutes later, you realize that was really stupid. I shouldn't have punched that and broke my hand. Something like that, except maybe I shouldn't have shot my grandmother with a .22 rifle. And now I have to prevent my grandfather from seeing that. It's weird because it's like there's a disturbing lack of emotion, but also like the presence of emotion,
Well, I kind of jumped ahead. I mean,
you jumped ahead. It's all right. It's more of an outline, man.
Yeah, I got you.
Like we're going through it and stuff. We're just putting a little twist on it so it doesn't seem so, anal.
Well, I also read entirely too many true crime books and listen
just
to
get him on the phone.
Just get Ed on the phone, call up there. He would tell everything though. You know that, right?
Like, is he still alive?
Edmund is still alive. I think it's in like Fresno or wherever the prison is in California. He's still locked up in California in prison. And Edmund is a talker. He's a very big talker. Like,
well, he's had a lonely childhood.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anybody who would listen, he pretty much talked. And it's said he's like one of the nicest people you'll meet as well. Like everybody likes him. Everybody who meets him, the cops up there that take care of him.
Most serial killers, to my understanding, not all, but a lot of them are very charismatic.
Yeah, I can agree. That is kind of a trait, right? They're kind of on the spectrum, right? They're one side or the other. Either they're very, very charismatic or they're very, very like
introverted.
It seems like the smart ones mostly.
The smart ones are charismatic.
IQ. Yeah.
We ought to, that's something I ought to look into after that.
Could
for
be
sure.
a form of maybe manipulation. you know, because of course they view people differently.
Yeah, because that makes sense because Edmund had a high IQ. You know what? You got Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy had a high IQ. All those guys are very charismatic.
Yeah, because I was trying to think of like the charismatic versus maybe the not so charismatic, like Manson, who was probably charismatic in his day, obviously, because he had the cult.
I was getting ready to say,
You see modern interviews of Charles Manson, and doesn't seem very charisma. Doesn't seem to be on his.
I think he kind of lost it because I think Manson was definitely like a super charismatic, high IQ person, right? I thought he had a decent IQ as well.
He at least knew how to manipulate people.
Yeah,
in a way.
Look, if you're gonna be a serial killer in a high population area with a lot of other smart people, you got to be really smart. If you're out in the boonies somewhere, you ain't got to be too smart to be a serial killer.
That's true.
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah. Speaking of Ed Kemper's incarcerations, looks like his first one was a state hospital.
Yeah.
He was
Atascarado or something.
Atascadero?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Atascadero.
Diagnosed paranoid schizophrenia, criminally insane, and committed to state hospital.
Yeah. So
smart enough to manipulate psychiatric evaluations, presenting himself as a model patient. So definitely high intelligence.
They actually let him assist, by the way. They did let him assist. So he learned pretty much to tell them exactly what they wanted to hear at all times to give himself like the best evaluation. And he got so good at that manipulation that they allowed him to assist with other incoming patients and help with their psych evaluations.
Oh, to see if they're lying?
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. He was manipulative enough to assist, but did he throw another layer of manipulation on there and make those already poor, crazy people even more crazy?
Like make him seem crazier than he was?
Yeah.
Put himself in a good light? I don't know.
Probably. If I'm being honest, I'd do that.
Yeah.
To make myself look better.
Or at least as like some kind of form of entertainment, you know, if you're...
yeah.
Especially since I'm so mischievous.
I can't kill anybody in here. I don't have the tools.
Yeah.
Let me make him try and kill himself.
Yeah. Maybe make them go through what he went through.
Intrusive thoughts that I don't act on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
yeah.
Assisted model patient still against the warning of several professionals. They released him. 21 years old in 1969. Dude got released. All right, let's count it up. How many times he gets incarcerated?
Yeah. Twice.
This is a
well, beat you to the punch, sir. Watch entirely too much about Edmund. Twice, yeah.
Oh.
Not much of a repeat offender, huh?
No. Edmund I think Edmund could have flew, like you'll see as we move along, but I think he could have got away with a lot more than he did.
Well, we'll have some episodes some point where we'll see guys that were in and out of prison.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of serial killer. There's multiple cases of catching your serial killer and having them red-handed and just letting them go right back out to it.
So
we'll definitely hit those cases.
We'll keep the incarceration counter going across the episodes.
Yeah. How many times they were locked up and how many times they were released.
We'll see who has the most releases ever.
In this room? Probably Daniel.
All right now. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. In this room, it's probably me. Yeah.
I ain't never been to jail.
No, I ain't never been to jail.
Been a few times and I ain't going back.
I've been cuffed and thrown in the back of a cruiser numerous times.
I've been taken to a theme park security when I was real
in
little.
a theme park?
Oh yeah, I was real little. Stole something.
Huh.
I can honestly say I haven't stolen anything ever.
I think real
after
hard. I could remember the first thing I stole.
that. All right, Forrest.
It was a Spider-Man comic book from McGee's.
Oh my God, McGee's
wouldn't pay for it, and so I stuck it in my shorts.
And nobody's gonna go through a little kid's shorts.
Oh, they did. I immediately.
Oh my
caught.
God!
Immediately. Like
Oh
they used
my
to sell them. Like this was like early '90s, mid '90s. Okay, mid '90s.
Okay, so a little too early to go. That man touched me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was with a babysitter, and they like
This was
you
still
won't
back
see
when
comic books around. Like they're not around here. So like when I saw them on a fucking magazine rack next to a checkout aisle at Marsh, or not Marsh, it was
McGee's.
I was like, I want this. I have to have this. My babysitter was like, no, because my babysitter's poor, because I was poor, you know. So she's getting paid dick off. She's paying food with food stamps, and she wants me to buy a $9 comic book. She's like, no. And we're like right there at the checkout in line. Everybody's around. And so I just go and put my shirt over it. And I'm like this little kid, little toddler. And I got like this book shaped thing under my shirt. And I'm just standing there acting casual. They were not happy.
I think the first thing I got caught stealing was tech decks.
Was your babysitter a teenager or a grown? Grown. So this is back in the 90s. This is when your babysitter could beat you and your parents would be like, good job, babysitter.
Well, she didn't, thankfully.
It's the end of society.
But what's funny is her son grew up, who's actually my age, and he's not doing well. And I was just thinking about that and how to say
it nicely. Yeah, I don't know. Incarceration's not fun.
Anyway. I mean, last I heard, for all I know, maybe he turned his life around. He could have a yacht right now, for all I know.
And to be fair, I'm not the most hardened criminal either. Anyway, all mine were idiotic thefts.
Don't let my white duds and pleasant demeanor fool you.
Well, pleasant demeanor. Ed Kemper, after his release, tried to reintegrate himself into society. Got a job with the California Highway Department, demonstrating, regular semblance of normalcy, except, still had those dark urges. And attended some college, trying to suppress those, but it didn't work. 3 years later, 1972, he started murdering people.
Here I go killing again.
Yeah, Edmund Kemper tried. I mean, I think one of the biggest factors that prevented him from, I guess, being rehabilitated was the fact that the doctors at the state hospital told him upon his leaving, don't go back to your mom. That was like their biggest thing. Do not go back to your mother. Your mother is your trigger. She is kind of the entirety of why you are who you are. Don't go back to her. And she picked him up from the state hospital. So he immediately went right back to her.
That's a theme with a lot of serial killers. They go right back to the toxic relationships they were in.
Right back to their biggest trigger.
And then they get drugged back in. So talking about nature versus nurture.
It could be it could be hard to get away from people, that are toxic that you need to get away from in your life. Especially like people that don't like change. Like I don't like change, So when someone leaves my life, I don't like it. It doesn't matter like how much I dislike them or not.
I think a lot of the people that are in those type of abusive like relationships, whether it be your mother or a spouse or whatever, I think they start to believe that they deserve it. I think it becomes like a thing where they're like, I deserve this punishment.
Or maybe just also that he doesn't have a lot of people in his life too, Like if you're saying don't go back to your mother, but if all you have is your mother, like where's he going to, he's not going to go to his friend's house. He's not going to go down the street to his girlfriend's.
Yeah, it's the only place he has to go.
If his mother's just constantly orbiting him and hovering over him and in control of his life, might not see a way out other than to kill him.
Yeah. Well, we hit like right on the perfect topic of what happens with guys who are incarcerated, though. You know what I mean? Like they go and they get incarcerated and then we rehabilitate them.
Oh, you're talking about institutionalization.
Yeah. I mean, they're institutionalized, but at the same time that when we do release them, we expect them to be able to come out and do something different.
Well, a lot of times they don't teach them anything in prison. Like I've heard of some prisons, they'll teach them like people like go to prison and learn to weld and do things or get college credits.
Other countries, in anybody but the U.S.
Not well. I mean, really? I've heard like what I was saying. Like I've heard of some prisons in the U.S. that will do that, but it's
supposed
rare.
to be like that.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be, but most of the time it's just capitalism and money. So they're like, how many of these fucking assholes can we cram in this building?
Those people
eat them slop. And
make some money off of them.
So you're trying to teach somebody to do something good and everything, and they're just not getting it, and they're not getting it, and they don't want to do it, and that kind of saps it out of you. So you got to look at these workers, how long they've been doing it.
Well, like I said,
I can understand to an extent, but again, if your job is to rehabilitate these prisoners and you're no longer rehabilitating them, maybe you should find a new profession.
Yeah. But you're also sending them back out, right? And you're telling them not to go back to whoever was their trigger, whoever was somebody that made them do horrible things. And they've been institutionalized the entire time. They don't have nowhere else to go. You know what I mean? It's not like they were meeting new people and creating new bonds while inside a cell.
What's the devil you know or something? The phrase?
The devil you know.
The devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't.
Yeah. So when they come out, I mean, they do the halfway house thing, but then most of those guys can't survive in a halfway house, you know? And even that's, I think, more of a newer ideology than it is previously. I don't think they had a lot of halfway houses in Edmund's time. So nowadays we have halfway houses to keep you from going back to your bad situation.
Yeah, I feel like that's where the rehabilitation actually even starts, is that at the halfway house. Like, what's the point in keeping somebody locked up for 20 years?
Yeah.
If at the end of it, after you teach them how to make cigarette lighters out of a lamp and fucking tattoo guns out of just whatever's laying around.
How to melt the toothbrush into a razor.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that. How's that going to help a man stick two pieces of fucking steel together or turn a fucking wrench, you know?
Yeah. We definitely failed on that. And they definitely failed with Edmund Kemper. I mean, you would think if a doctor looks at you and tells you not to go back to your mom, they might do something like, I don't know, walk outside and make sure you don't get back in the car with your mother as soon as you're leaving.
Yeah. There definitely should have been some kind of help from the state. I don't know, like local, state, federal, something.
Yeah, put him in some kind of housing, put him somewhere else other than allowing him to go right back out into the situation.
I mean, even present day, like a lot of inmates, you know, they don't want to go. They're scared to leave prison. They're like, what am I supposed to do out there? Like, who's going to feed me? Who's going to...
My dad. So, anyway. I mean, at least I have experience with that. Yeah, my dad is institutionalized. I mean, he doesn't like coming out. He'd rather be in.
I feel like I'm like at risk for institutionalization, or maybe even Stockholm. I feel like I could just adapt very well.
Speaking of these halfway houses, which Ed Kemper did not have access to,
Bozo.
He got out, and this is interesting. The co-ed killer, as he would later be called. You think that has to do with something? You know, his choice of victims. His mother preferred his sisters, so he went after young women.
Yeah,
hitchhikers, young women.
I think it's a mix of that and the fact that she raised him pretty much going like, you're ugly, you're big, and you're goofy, and you're never going to have any woman love you.
Oh. And he may not have had him love him, but he definitely got women.
Yeah. Yeah. And they were there too, right? Like, I don't know if I wrote it in our outline, but Kemper's mom, Maud, she lived on the college campus.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he was living on that college campus.
Rough.
It leads into like during his murders later on. I don't know if I put that in the outline too, so I'll just hit it real quick. Is after some of these murders started happening, they put it out like, hey, do not hitchhike, don't get in the car with anybody. You know what I mean? If you're not aware of who they are, don't get in the car with them. Well, he actually had a parking pass for the college on the back of his car because of his mother. And so it kind of won trust of like these college girls. You know what I mean? They were willing to get in the car with him because they're like, oh, he goes to the college. You know what I mean? I can trust this guy. So
big mistake.
Yeah.
Huge mistake.
Huge
also,
mistake.
we're getting into the 70s. So like how many people are watching the news, listening to the man, you know?
Yeah, that ain't cool. Everybody's smoking grass, free love.
I'm going to hitchhike.
Yeah.
I'm going to hitchhike if I want to hitchhike.
Follow the rules of the road.
And then I'm going to get murdered by Ed Kemper.
I mean, his victims were primarily young women, and his modus operandi involved picking up female hitchhikers. So that's what earned him that notorious moniker.
Let's talk about some of his victims.
Let's do.
His first victim, Mary Ann Pesci, was born September 11th, 1953 in Santa Cruz, California. She was a vivacious and intelligent young woman, just 18 years old at the time of her tragic death. She was attending Cabrillo College, majoring in dance, and was known for her passion for the arts. Described as warm-hearted and caring, Mary Ann had a bright future ahead of her. Alongside her, Anita Lucchesa, born on June 18th, 1953 in Santa Cruz, was an 18-year-old freshman attending Cabrillo College, studying to become a computer programmer. She was an ambitious and talented young woman with a promising life ahead of her. Anita was known for her kindness, intelligence, and keen interest in computers. Sounds like two young, intelligent women.
Yeah. Again, it's unfortunate. I mean, that's why we don't hitchhike today, right? If you look at like the past of hitchhiking.
I mean, I would hitchhike today if
Would
I
you?
had my gun on me.
If you had your gun on you.
If I had my gun on me.
So I was raised, and that was like one of the very big like fear mongering tools used by my parents. It's like, don't ever get into a car with somebody to hitchhike.
I wouldn't hitchhike in a city. If I was going to hitchhike, it would be, you know, back country roads, sitting in the back of a dude's pickup with my gun.
I don't think I would hitchhike.
Southern hospitality type deal.
We don't even have to hitchhike nowadays.
So
No, you just get an Uber.
Yeah, you
Quick
just get an Uber,
question.
Lyft.
when we were kids and we were across town over on Van Nest, it wasn't hitchhiking when we walked up that old man's driveway and asked him to give us a lift across town.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
That's technically not hitchhiking, though.
Technically,
Like
yeah.
if you're walking up to somebody's house and asking for a ride.
Yeah, he was like out washing his car, doing some gardening or something. And Daniel's like, watch this. Hey, man, you think you could give us a ride across town? So, because we're going to walk. Like, we already walked here. We're just so tired. He was just like, yeah, sure, come on.
Yeah, I don't know if that's technically hitchhiking. That dude could have been a murderer, but, you know.
We were ready for it. I think we weighed the risks, you know. It was like we could either spend 7 hours walking or we could possibly get murdered, but we could probably take this guy. We could definitely take this guy if he tries to kill us.
That sounds something like, I'm pretty sure we did. Didn't we talk about like one of us is in the back, so if the man makes a move, just start choking him. The other just
I don't even know if we
him.
talked about it, but I know it was on my mind, so I felt like it was probably on your mind.
Oh,
You know, like
man.
if we walked up to his house and the guy looked like Mike Tyson and he was like sweaty and oily and just fucking flexed and ripped and he just looked like he ate children, I'd be like, man, I don't know. Maybe we should walk. But it was just this
yeah,
frail old guy.
I don't know if that's technically hitchhiking. You could make an argument for it, but
Yeah. More like, hey, give us a ride.
We're scavenging for rides.
Give us a ride.
but Marianne and Anita were 100% hitchhiking.
Absolutely. It was very
So,
prevalent back then.
You know,
Oh, yeah. People would hitchhike
Hey.
across the nation.
May 7th, 1972, when Kemper picked them up while they're hitchhiking in Berkeley, wanted to drive them to Stanford, or they wanted to get to Stanford. After about an hour on the road, he diverted towards a secluded, wooded area
Uh-oh.
near Alameda, a location he knew well from his work at the highway department. During this journey, he kept the young woman unaware of the change in direction. In that isolated location, Kemper handcuffed Pesci and confined Lucchesa to the trunk, proceeding to end their lives brutally through stabbing and strangulation in a horrifyingly similar manner. Subsequently, Kemper callously confessed to appalling details regarding the moments leading up to their murders, exhibiting a disturbing lack of remorse. Kemper's selection of his victims was based on a twisted view of social class, revealing a deeply unsettling aspect of his mindset. Post these atrocious acts, Kemper concealed the victims' bodies in the trunks of his Ford Galaxy and returned to his residence. Here, he committed unspeakable violations and mutilations, displaying a complete disregard for human decency and empathy. Despite encountering the police due to a broken taillight, Kemper managed to avoid suspicion and transported the victims' remains to his apartment. Subsequent actions he engaged in were repugnant and inhumane. Kemper heartlessly disposed of the body parts in plastic bags near Loma Prieta Mountain, underscoring the callousness he displayed toward the lives he had taken. The discovery of Pesci's skull on Loma Prieta Mountain in August of that year served as a grim reminder of this dreadful event. The inability to locate the rest of Pesci's remains or any trace of Lucchesa only compounded the tragedy.
Yeah, Edmund's a twisted guy, man. Like the getting pulled over. He got pulled over, literally with their bodies in the back of the trunk, right after the murders. Driving home with their bodies in the back of the trunk.
How'd he hide the blood from the stabbings?
I don't know. I've thought about that a few times watching any of the things. Like, was this cop just so unaware? I mean, nowadays, if a cop pulls you over, if you have like a small roach in your fucking ashtray, you're busted.
Well, these are like 70s cops, right? So they got like what, a 6-shooter and a flashlight? Like, and they don't really, that's all that you just tell them, go
But he
out there
just
and
didn't shine
enforce
it?
the law.
He just didn't shine it or anything. I mean, like you would imagine, like,
It was the 70s. He was probably stoned, dude. Wasn't everybody?
yeah, like he stabbed Pesci in the backseat of the car, like stabbed her to death. I know, like, by the time he got Lucchesa out of the car and he was trying to tell,
Okay, so this was in the car, yeah. So actually,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So how did he hide the blood? Maybe
Yeah.
just piled shit on it?
because I know he talked about it too. Like he talked about when he first stabbed Pesci that he thought it would be like a movie. Like you would stab somebody and they'd be like, oh no, and they would just like die out real quick. And then he said that like,
Depends.
yeah, like it freaked him out that he stabbed her and she like continued to fight. So he had to like stab, like, you know, he had to keep stabbing her. So, and then when he got Lucchesa out the trunk, she was like, you know, what happened to my friend? And he's like, oh, your friend attacked me. You know what I mean? Like he tried to play it off, but then immediately gets pulled over for a tail light. And then you don't see any of that blood. I mean, not a bit of it. It had to be all over the back of that backseat.
Well, like if he had a blanket or something, he could have covered it up. But what about you stab somebody, you're getting blood on your hands?
Yeah.
True, but like maybe there's no dash cams back then, unfortunately. But maybe it was just like a casual little, hey, bud, just letting you know you got a tail light out, and then officer had other shit to do.
Yeah, I guess it could be that way. Just like walk up quick, like, hey, you got a tail light out. Oh, I'll get that fixed. You know,
like, why I'm not even gonna write you a ticket? Like, what's the point? Like,
and then he fucks off.
Just letting you know.
I mean, I think it's just crazy coincidence, and we'll see that over a bunch of cases we cover.
Oh yeah,
Just like how quick these guys could have been caught on their first murders because they run right into a police officer and then they just happen to get away. They're just not caught. And then they go on to kill multiple people.
Sometimes cops are just lazy.
Yeah. I put unspeakable acts, but I mean, Edmund's really into keeping the head.
Unspeakable acts, yet he speaks about them all the time.
I'll speak about him. He's skull fucking his mom is what we're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, yeah, he does. But I mean, it's almost like a form like of trepanning, but it's not technically trepanning. I would assume so. I don't think it's technically trepanning, but trepanning is the act of like fucking a hole in somebody's skull. But he's very into the head, like keeping the head. He dismembers their bodies and he keeps the head in his bed and sleeps with it and stuff. And he's very good at like switching on and off, right? Like there were times in a lot of the stories I read where Edmund like would have like somebody come and knock on his door. And he could get up out of his bed where he was just laying with a human head and kind of flip that switch and walk out there and answer the door and just be like the nicest person ever, just for them to turn around and leave and him to be able to flip the switch right back off and go back in there and lay in a bed with somebody's decapitated head. That's a crazy way to be able to flip a switch. You know what I mean? To be able to sit there and...
You mean you don't have a customer service face?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what it is, right?
It could be what it is.
Yeah. Well, his next murder, though, happens to be the one that I find the most disturbing, in my opinion.
You also got to look these cop not catching him right away. Investigations back then took a lot longer than they did today, and his killing spree didn't even last an entire year. I
guess
if you discount him killing his grandparents,
yeah,
that was kind of separate.
And I guess it's also something to be said that this man is the guy that helped them come up with criminal profiling. So at that point in time, I don't even think they had a technical term for a serial killer. I think they just called them like spree killers or something. Like they didn't have a technical term for a serial killer.
Cops were so stupid. They were just like, you mean people can just lie? What?
Yeah. I mean, that's who they interviewed. They interviewed Edmund Kemper, and that's who assisted them with coming up with like criminal profiling.
Yeah, he was just in there like, nope, this guy's bullshit.
Yeah. I think he assisted with like
CIA interrogator.
Ted Bundy and a few other people that they like went in and asked him to give like his assistance with the criminal profiling on them. So, but let's get into his second murder.
His second murder, Aiko Ku, during the evening of September 14th, 1972. Still 1972. All this stuff, wow. Kemper came across Aiko Ku, a 15-year-old dance student, hitchhiking to her dance class due to a missed bus. Wow, that's gotta suck.
Yeah.
Miss your bus, get killed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Once
again, he drove to a secluded location and brandished a firearm at Ku. In an unfortunate turn, he locked himself out of his car. And then she let him back in. I'm not going to say she asked for it, but I mean, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You don't know where you're at and you're going to let this dude back in the car?
It's just one of those cases
Hop in the driver's seat, drive yourself. Fuck that dude.
It's one of those cases where we don't want to victim shame, right? Like, I don't want to victim shame. But he locked himself out with the gun in the car. So he drove her there at gunpoint, then managed to get out and accidentally lock himself out the car. So she's in the car with the gun and the keys and could have easily stepped over into the driver's seat. I agree.
Or could have shot him.
Yeah.
Pulled
the gun and shot him. But she's 15. So it's one of those things like, that's why I said I find this one the most disturbing, because he also didn't know she was 15. Like, he spoke on this multiple times. He thought she was older. He doesn't say that he feels bad for it, but you can definitely tell he didn't want to kill like a 15-year-old girl. I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe he did aim for a 15-year-old, but the way he talks, yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
And he did it the shitty way. He didn't even, after she let him back in, didn't even shoot her. Strangled her. I don't know how long it takes to crush somebody's windpipe, but it takes longer than, a bullet to the brain.
Yeah. It's another case where we see movies and we think strangulation's pretty quick, but they say it's actually pretty atrocious. It's like one of the most intimate and
I think it depends on how you choke them out. A lot of it depends. Like, I think people used to like sleeper holds or something like that.
yeah, if you cut off both sides.
Sleeper holds are painful, but that's not.
Me and my friends used to choke each other out all the time.
That's not straight strangulation.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe. I don't know. Don't quote me on it.
Like,
I'll look it up later.
Of oxygen takes a pretty long time.
But I think when you strangle somebody, it involves crushing their windpipe.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, yeah.
If you're a grown man assaulting a 15-year-old girl, you're probably going to crush her windpipe.
Oh, for
and
sure.
That's going to be painful.
Especially if you're the size of a silverback
Super
gorilla.
painful. Anyway, gets back and she lets him back in the car. He strangles her. He puts her body in the trunk of the car and went to a nearby bar for some drinks.
Turn
Okay.
up.
Left her in the trunk.
And the
Went
bar,
to the bar. Got some drinks.
the bar, just so you guys know, because I didn't put it in there and I didn't want to miss it, because I kind of wanted to go over it myself. The bar is called the jury room. Okay. And the jury room is in Santa Cruz, and it was a police officer bar. It was a cop bar. So Kemper actually tried to become a police officer. He applied, and they told him he was too big because, of course, Kemper was like 6'8". So they told him he was too big to be a police officer. So he actually befriended a lot of cops, and that was his drinking place. So
That's why the cop didn't pull him over.
Yeah.
Or didn't arrest him or investigate further with a broken taillight. Maybe he knew him.
Yeah. It's a very big possibility because Kemper did hang out at the jury room in Santa Cruz. That's where he drank at.
Yeah, I wonder if old Ed knows he's got a tail light out there.
You got a broken taillight, but I seen you at the jury room, so I'm just going to let you go. Just get it fixed, man.
Yeah, they thought he was a great guy. They really did. Like, a lot of the police officers were pretty good friends with Ed.
So later he confessed that after leaving the bar, he went back to his car, opened the trunk, and just looked at her.
I do believe there was also an incident at the bar. I'm trying to think of what it was because it's one of them that I probably should have wrote in the outline. But I think that they did an investigation on Edmund Kemper, and it was reported to his, because he was still on parole, right? Like being let out of that mental institution. I think he was still technically paroled. They noticed that Ed had a registered firearm in his name, right? And so there was a cop at the jury room while he had Ikoku's body in the trunk that actually approached Ed while he was outside at his car and asked him if he had his gun on him. And Ed said, yeah, it's in the trunk. And it was in the trunk beside Ikoku's body. And the cop did not ask to see it. He just went, okay, is it your gun? And he pretty much told the police officer, like, yeah, this is registered to me. And so the cop went back and ran and made sure he was okayed to have a firearm and let him go. So that's like incident number 2, where if that cop would have just asked to see the firearm and made him open the trunk, he could have actually seen Ikoku's body in the back of the trunk.
Damn.
Well, especially if the cop knows him. Like, if he doesn't think that he's lying, well, why would he lie about saying the gun's in his trunk? I know Ohio law stated that used to be how you had to do it, was you keep it in a trunk or in your glove box in a case.
Yeah, somewhere where you couldn't get to it.
Yeah, somewhere where, it just wasn't easily accessible immediately.
Yeah.
Driver's seat, just in case somebody cuts you off. Can't just apparently bust a few shells in their direction, unfortunately.
And it's one of those cases, too, where Edmund was just so good at telling you what you wanted to hear.
And
I mean,
I didn't know him, too.
Yeah.
Like, if they're drinking at the cop bar, it's just 2 buds.
Yeah, but again, it's one of those cases where he's so charismatic that you walk out there and he's able to hide. I mean, because you would think any normal person, like,
Yeah, they'd be sweating.
exactly,
nervous.
you'd be
The cop,
freaked
like,
out
why
when
are
the cop's like,
Why you look like a fucking...
yeah,
You look shady.
yeah, because he'd like to go out and look in his trunk and take a look at the bodies.
So the cop didn't get a look in his trunk, but he did. Just sit there. Who knows what's going through his head? He's looking at the body. Takes it home. Does stuff to this one. Dismembers this one. Disposed of the remains. Seem similar to his previous 2 victims. Ku's mother, when her daughter went missing, contacted the police nonstop. Distributed flyers. Nothing came of it.
Yeah.
Didn't know. She never knew what happened to her daughter until this man got arrested and started spilling his guts for everybody.
I'm also pretty sure. I think it was Ku, but I think it was Ku. I don't think it was Cindy Shaw, but I think Ku is the one where he buried her head outside of his window in his mother's garden, looking up. That way he could look outside, like she would always be looking up to his window. It's
That's
disturbing.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, for as nice as this man plays off, he is pretty fucking disturbed.
So he could make eye contact with his victim even after the fact and be like, yeah, I killed you.
Yeah, because he did say he would hold on to their head until it basically became too pungent.
And when it became too pungent, he went out and got a new head.
Yeah.
Sounds like a power thing, maybe.
Yeah,
It very much
I could
was.
see, put him in the ground like he was, in the basement.
Yeah, like I have control over your life. I've taken it from you. I am the one. I'm your God.
Could be.
It very much is. Like
Look upon me.
when we get to his mom, you'll see that that was a power trip.
So when that head got too pungent, he got rid of it.
As you do.
And on January 7th, Kemper, who was living with his mother again, cruised around Cabrillo College campus and encountered 18-year-old student Cynthia Ann, or Cindy, Shaw. They drove to a wooded area where he tragically ended her life with a .22 caliber pistol. Wow, finally shot somebody.
Yep.
Aside from his grandmother, with a .22.
Yeah, that's a 22. That's why he's not shooting anybody. Like, you
Yeah.
got better look, clubbing him to death.
Yeah, it's got to be a horrible way to die. Get shot by a 22.
Yeah, you got to aim for the right spot to die instantly from a .22.
I heard the story of a pizza man who was robbed by a coworker. A coworker came in, emptied out the safe, and shot everybody in the head. He shot this man 2 or 3 times in the head, and the man then went and got into his car, drove to the police station, and told on him before he died.
Yeah?
Yeah, he commuted in traffic with 3 bullets in his brain.
Because they were 22s.
Because they
Yeah.
were 22s.
22
People say-
solids,
Oh, those 22s are just as deadly.
hollow point might kill somebody a bit quicker, but 22 solid, you're not dying right away.
Yeah, a hole's a hole, but a lot of people always defend 22. Like, oh, you don't want to get shot by a 22. I'll tell you what I don't want to get shot by is a 50 caliber.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, one of them hits you in the torso, you're just going to be 4 limbs and a head. It's
So-
just going to be gone.
He killed Cindy, took her home to his mother's residence, hid her in the closet overnight. His mom was there. Mom leaves for work. He takes it out of the closet, commits some, acts of sexual assault. Dead body, necrophilia. That's not very kosher. Took the bullet out
Yeah, he's a smart guy. Took the bullet out of her body.
and dismembered and decapitated her in the bathtub. Got to get that bullet out.
Yeah.
Don't leave no evidence.
That's the thing about Ed, man. It's like I said, like as you see this go on, when he gets to his mother, you know what I mean? Because there's only 2 more victims in between him and when he actually finally kills Clarnell. But
You think it was just practice?
I think
You think he was practicing for the big kill?
I think that you'll see when we come to Clarnell. I think that I mean he said it himself. I think he said he should have just fucking killed his mom to begin with, and then he might have not killed a bunch of other
You think
women.
he was trying to satiate
I'm
urge?
I'm wondering why he didn't kill his sisters.
Well, maybe his sisters didn't do anything wrong.
Out of all the audiobooks I've listened to about Edmund Kemper and out of all the documentaries and things I've watched regarding Edmund Kemper, they don't really talk about his sisters at all. I don't know if it's maybe that they were just like, fuck you to the media and they were like, please don't bring me up in anything. They're like never mentioned aside from his childhood when they're like, hey, they were treated good and Edmund was treated like a piece of shit. I don't remember them ever really bringing his sisters up.
I imagine they'd try to distance themselves from it.
Yeah, you would want to get the fuck away from that, I imagine. I'm an only child, but
That begs the question, did they have a good relationship with their mother? Because I was thinking maybe he was killing these young co-eds because,
like a resentment towards them.
resentment towards his sisters. But
That
like,
makes sense.
if his sisters never, you'd think he would like try and kill his sisters.
Yeah.
If that was, or maybe just, this was a very short time. Maybe they just run around. Maybe they were at college somewhere else. So he didn't get the opportunity.
Yeah. So he has one of them that he goes over where he talks about, I can't remember which passenger it was that he it was prior to him committing his first murder. He reached across to let her out of the car. Like usually he got out when the girls were hitchhiking and he walked around and opened their door. Like a lot of the girls that hitchhiked prior to his murder said
he's a killer.
Yeah, they said he was a very big gentleman, like a lot of the girls did. But like one of his triggerings was like he reached across the girl since he's so big to just open the door because he didn't want to get out. And she freaked out like immediately, panicked and basically was like, don't touch me. And that was like one of his triggers.
I have a boyfriend.
I don't blame her
Yeah.
because he's 6'8". Now, I don't know how tall my sister's husband is, but when he walked into my door, when I met him the first time, he had to duck into the doorway.
Yeah.
And my reaction was
Oh my God, please don't hit me.
It was basically "Don't eat me" almost. I was kind of just like, especially since my sister's very much the kind of person like where if something, my sister's pretty direct, but also kind of like subtle about it.
Yeah.
So like if she was to introduce you to somebody who say like had both their limbs blown off, like both their arms blown off by a bomb in Afghanistan, and she's like, "Oh, hey, you got to meet this guy. He's great. By the way, just so you know, he got his arms blown off in war. So don't mention it because he's kind of self-conscious about it. And it might really upset him."
So she basically hit you with like,
but she
he's
knows
kind
me.
of tall.
I mean, she didn't hit me with anything. Instead, I think she was like, "You got to meet my brother. He's a trip. He's going to love this." Because she knows like I'm just going to have like probably a bizarre, crazy fucking reaction to this. I mean, I call him a gorilla because I mean, he's a very large person, dude. He had to duck through the doorway. I always give him shit for it.
Probably not as weird of a reaction as
But
letting the head outside get too pungent and then going on to kill your next two victims.
Oh yeah, that's probably a little more extreme.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, I imagine how like somebody that size, especially a dainty female, compared to like a stranger that's probably literally twice your size.
So his mom was kind of right though. As bad as that sounds to say it, she said, you know, you're too big. And
But I wonder if it's a thing like, okay, when I was a kid, I got accused of busting out the windows of this garage, but I didn't do it. Instead, what I did was I was walking down an alley. I seen a piece of plywood on a garage window. I was like in the single digits age. I was like 7 or 8. And I start chucking rocks at this boarded up window. And somebody came outside like, "You're the one who busted those windows." But I knew no one would believe me. So I just took it. The cops came. They made my dad pay for the window. I never busted the window out. I was so resentful and so mad for taking the blame of something I didn't do that I went out there the next day and busted out every single window of that garage.
I don't blame you.
And I also had to pay for all those too because the cops immediately came into my house.
You've paid for a lot of windows over your life.
Man, you know, now that I think about it,
Because I also
now that I think about it,
I also shot windows out with a BB gun.
Serial window killers.
When he was at my house, I shot a bunch of
Surrounded by
windows out,
balloons.
and I had a bad childhood, so I was going to go to jail for it. And instead, David went out and took the blame for it.
That's
and,
why I hate
and
these signs.
paid for the windows.
I hate these signs of serial killers, man, because I just checked off like I never hurt animals or anything like that, but like I loved starting fires. I almost burned down my friend's shed. I wasn't allowed around.
I mean, I almost
any of
burned
the
down my
kids.
house when I was a kid. That shit happens.
I wasn't allowed around any of the
Fire's
neighborhood
cool.
kids. I mean, it's terrible.
You almost burn it down and then you don't, and you're like, "Oh my God, thank God."
Well, I seen TV and I was like, "Guys, let's start like a little hobo fire in a trash can behind your shed where your parents can't see us, obviously." So we're in the backyard behind a shed, and instead of using like a 10 barrel like hobos do in the movies,
you used a plastic can.
we used a plastic waste can and set it right up against the next side of his shed and lit it on fire. And then we realized, oh shit, we got to put this out.
So we
And then
had
the can started melting.
we had a camper lined up against our house, you know, like on the back of a pickup, and there was a dead Christmas tree underneath it, and we lit that on fire.
Oh no!
Luckily, we were
pine
able to put it
needles.
out. Oh yeah,
Oh.
we were able to put it out because it started going.
I was going to say that went up quickly, didn't
When
it?
you learn that pine needles are flammable,
Yeah.
it's a very fun.
Very
day.
flammable.
And then, you know, there was my parents are divorced, and I was a kid, and me and my buddies would go out, and there was this field across from these apartments, and we'd go there and play with fire there and stuff, and
See, I was never into
steal
fire.
cigarettes and shit.
I lit
Go
Daniel on
smoke
fire
there.
one time. I remember that.
What is it?
Your Woody the Woodpecker pajama pants.
Oh, yeah. When you lit him on fire?
I didn't mean to light them on fire. I didn't think they would.
He was trying to burn off the lint. You know how like you'll have like lint or whatever on it? You know what I mean?
His pants were made of lint, apparently.
Yeah. But I didn't know neither.
Light your pants on fire.
He was like, you know, watch this. And he thought he was going to get that little like quick trickle of fire and it was going to go away. But instead, my pant leg just ignited.
Anyway,
And he was like, oh. So now I have him lighting me on fire and just smacking my legs and trying to like stomp out fire.
yeah.
Hey, about killed me.
My parents were divorced. So I went to spend a weekend with my mother and came back, and the field by our house was all burnt fucking down.
Oh, shit. Did your friends do it?
Yep.
Did they burn it down?
They burned it down.
Oh, man.
Needless to say, our little fort underneath the thorn bushes.
Didn't your ex burn down apartments? Ashley? Didn't she burn down like a whole fucking apartment building?
Whoa, we're name dropping?
We're not name dropping last names. There's a lot of Ashleys in the world. Most uncommon
I've
fucking
dated
naming you have.
probably 4 Ashleys. But I think yes, I think she came from California, like her house burned down in I think Rachel has the same thing too. I don't know why all my girlfriends come from California.
And they burn down shit?
And
I don't know.
They come from burnt houses in California.
I think who was it? Has a song about
California's always on
California
fucking
girls?
fire, dude.
That makes sense. California is always on fire.
Anyway, let's get back to Edmund Kemper's next two victims.
Absolutely.
On February 5th, 1973, following a heated argument with his mother, Kemper left his residence in search of potential victims. Now he's actually actively going out and searching for people now because, his head's pungent. Gotta get a new one.
Yep, stinky.
But potential serial killer out there, people are getting cautious. So, like Daniel said earlier, Ed had a sticker on his car. The police cautioned everybody, hey, only go with trusted people. And I guess he had access to be a trusted person.
Yeah.
So he exploited his mother's association with USCS and got a sticker. He encountered Rosalind Heather Thorpe, age 23, and Alice Helen Liu, age 20, on the UCSC campus. According to Kemper, Thorpe got into his car first, reassuring Liu to join. He proceeded to fatally shoot Thorpe and then Liu with his pistol, his .22 pistol, wrapping their bodies in blankets. Once again, he took them back to his mother's residence. This time, he beheaded them in the car before taking them in, instead of, taking them in and desecrating the body. I still desecrated these bodies, just headless first.
Yep.
And then he finished dismembering them, removed the bullets to not get caught, and disposed of the remains following morning.
Seems trivial. I mean, was he scrapping the bullets? I mean, I know this is before forensics and back then,
Well, back then they could still,
I think it was just now starting to become a thing.
Trace the bullets.
Yeah. I think that was one of the first identifiers they found with murders was they did start tracing the barrel grooves on the bullets. So I think that was a thing in 73.
No, especially if the cops are asking. I guess, yeah, it's fair if the cops are especially they're like, hey, how's your
So-
gun? Oh, it's in my trunk, 22.
This time, some of the remains were found as little as a week later.
Yeah.
At Eden Canyon. And more were found near Route 1 in March. So, a month later. So he was asked in an interview the reasons for decapitating his victims. And he explained, and I quote, "The head trip fantasies were a bit like a trophy. The head is where everything is at. The brain, eyes, mouth. That's the person. I remember being told as a kid, you cut off the head and the body dies. The body is nothing after the head is cut off. Well, that's not quite true. There's a lot left in the girl's body without the head."
Yeah.
Damn, that's chilling. Wow.
Edmund had some very, very detailed and gruesome quotes over the years, man. And that's definitely one of them. There's a lot left in the body after you cut off the girl's head.
Well, I mean, literally speaking, that's all. Just literally speaking.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the Avenged Sevenfold song, A Little Piece of Heaven. I wonder if he had a heater for their thighs.
Oh, goodness gracious.
What are we but just sacks of meat?
Again, man, I'm going to say it just because we're going to be the type that go there all the time. We're definitely not victim shaming, but we are definitely three guys who are not going to hold back on talking about gruesome facts and things that can be a little bit disturbing. So I'm definitely going to end up putting a rating on our podcast.
Not even victim shaming.
I mean, we've
but-
already cursed a bunch, so
Yeah.
rating is,
Well, I already have us
Given-
marked as mature, but I just mean, we're going to make comments that are going to seem almost towards the spectrum of victim shaming. I mean, a lot of podcasts steer away from that area, and you definitely won't. But at the same time, this dude's a piece of shit.
I mean, it's not even victim shaming. I just feel like a lot of people, that's why I say don't panic, and people get in these situations and they panic and they make poor decisions, based on impulse, so maybe a minor who's locked a child outside of their car, well, this person's an adult. I have to listen to them. I have to let them back in their car. Otherwise I'm stealing their car and also probably just a little naive from no experience.
Well, it's the one we don't cover too. You got fight, right? And you got flight, right?
Oh yeah.
And nobody ever talks about freeze because that is actually one of them. That is a documented one that goes with that. You got
What's freeze?
flight, you got fight, and you got freeze. You got people who just do nothing. They don't know how to fight and they don't know how to run.
deer in the headlights.
Yeah, they just deer in the headlights it. And that has to be what happened to Aiko. She had to have just froze up and just not known what to do. So she just unlocked the door. I mean, it's sad. We're about to cover his mother, Clarnell. And it's,
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily, I'm not condoning in the acts of these people do, but, I'm not going to say I'm not going to victim shame. It's not my intention.
We're willing to talk about the
But,
morbidity of
you
the
know,
situation.
If I die doing something stupid, everybody feel free to just let me have it.
I think more of it is if you get killed doing something stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, going deep under the ocean, way beyond.
Oh, no. Let's not
Crush
bring
depth.
that up. Anyway, his mother, Clarnell Kemper and Sally Hallett, during the night of April 20th, 1973, still within a year of his first killings after getting back out. After returning from a party, Kemper's mother, Clarnell Strandberg, was awakened by his arrival home. Finding her immersed in a book while in bed, she remarked, "You'll probably want to stay up and talk all night now." Kemper simply responded with, "No, good night." He patiently waited for her to fall asleep, after which he entered her room and subjected her to a brutal attack using a claw hammer. I'm a fan of the claw hammer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Tyrese, Walking Dead.
Walking
Dude's a
Dead.
badass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, claw hammer kills. Oh, granted, she wasn't a zombie, so this one's pretty bad.
It's terrible.
Followed by slashing her throat with a penknife. That's small knife. That's gotta suck. Subsequently, he decapitated her, an act he later described as humiliating in a 1984 interview. He placed her head on a shelf and released his rage by throwing darts at it and smashing her face. Now, if it was a zombie head, I would definitely throw darts at it, paint a bullseye on its nose.
I mean, this was it though. This was like his peak, right? Like this is what everything pent up, all that rage, all the anger he had. This was it. Like this was his final massive release, was killing his mother, Clarnell.
Magnum opus.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It was his magnum opus. Like that's why he went like an extra step. Like he cherished a lot of the other girls' heads, right? Like as terrible as that is to say, he slept with it and kept it, you know what I mean? But like his mother's, he immediately took it out.
This one wasn't making it a day.
Yeah, it doesn't say it, I don't think.
Much more personal.
Yeah, in my outline it doesn't say it, but he does go back in and have sex with his mother's corpse.
Ugh.
I tried to not put too much.
You fuck my
brutality in it.
childhood, I fuck your dismembered
Did you
body.
fuck my fucking mom, Santa Claus?
Wow.
Did you fuck my fucking mom?
So, I mean, I guess either after he fucked her dead body or before, well, basically, he took the head of that smashed in head, slashed throat, dismembered head with the, removed the tongue and larynx, put them in the garbage disposal. However, the resilient vocal cords resisted disintegration and were forcefully ejected back into the sink. Justifying this act, Kemper stated, "It felt appropriate, given how she had berated and screamed at me over all the years."
Yeah, he tried to grind up her vocal cords and they
Damn.
won versus the garbage disposal.
Because she fucking used him to scream at him.
Yeah. Everything he did with Clarnell was an act of humiliation. And like he literally did. Like when he had sex with her body, he literally said it was to humiliate her, right? Like she had told him all these years, "You will have no woman." And so he took her, right? And then she had yelled at him all the years, so he took the vocal cords and tried to put them in the garbage disposal. So it was like every little piece of killing Clarnell, he tried to kind of take back everything she had done to him as a child.
See, and that's why I'm surprised, like, what CJ brought up, why he didn't kill his sisters, because there's nothing to humiliate after you. You know, I'm a big guy of, you don't kill your bullies, just beat them up and just watch them throughout life, you know?
Yeah.
I've had a couple great experiences where, you know, people picked on me and I kind of punched them in the face and then had to go to school with these people for, you know, the rest of my student years. And they just always kind of looked away from me.
Yeah.
I
But,
didn't,
you know, like, you
I
can't-
didn't punch my bullies.
Like how you can't humiliate your mom if you kill her. You know?
I humiliated my bullies.
Yeah. That seems to be like a very avid way of revenge,
Yeah.
just humiliation.
I manipulated them into doing something that made them do something fucked up, and they paid the consequences for it.
Yeah.
That's how I dealt with my bullies. I'm not a very physical person. So yeah, after the gruesome act, he concealed his mother's remains in the closet and went to a nearby bar for a drink. Hey man, he loves going to get drinks after getting killed.
It's always the jury room too.
Get that sauce.
So basically, this is his magnum opus. All the rage is released, and he's feeling good now. He's on that kill high. Goes to the bar, gets a few drinks, and then invites his mother's friend over, 59-year-old Sally Hallett, to the house for dinner and a movie. I'm feeling good. killed my mother. She doesn't know that. Killed my mother, had a few drinks. I'm feeling great. When she arrived, Kemper strangled her, concocting a narrative that his mother and Hallett had left together for a vacation. He placed Hallett's lifeless body in a closet, cleaned up any signs of a struggle, and left a deceptive note for the police. Here's the thing. If he hadn't killed his mother there, would he have been found?
I don't think so.
Or he would have been able to keep on killing for years and years.
Ed would have killed for multiple more years, in my opinion.
So she just said something, tipped him off, and he's like, tonight's the fucking night.
It was the trigger. Like, he talks about it all the time. It was I guess you're going to want to stay up all night and talk now. That's what triggered him. He talks about it all the time.
That probably hurt somebody's feelings, especially if they wanted to stay up all night and talk to you.
If she didn't say that, he probably would have went on to kill a lot more women. You know what I mean?
I've had a bad day. I couldn't find a replacement for my head out in the garden.
Maybe if his mother
come home. Oh, you want to talk now? All right, that's it. This shit ends tonight.
Maybe she took time in her life to listen to her son a little more. Everybody would have turned out a lot better in this situation.
Oh, dude. If Clarnell literally created a monster. Like, see, there's the hard part when you talk about Edmund Kemper, where we've covered it a few times already, right? Saying you don't want to victim blame. Clarnell is the one victim that does deserve blame. She created a monster. I don't care any way you cut it. When you lock a kid in a cellar, when you constantly berate him with you're too big, you're too dumb, you're too stupid, you're never going to, nobody's ever going to love you. And you do that all the way up into his later years as a young adult, you're going to do damage. You really are. There's no other way to put it. You're going to do damage. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to cover too much of it on the podcast, but like, you knew that I came from like a very bad situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. And even as an adult right now, as much as I try to hide it, I still have fucking flashbacks of those moments.
Oh, yeah.
They come back, and they come back without me even trying to think of the topic, right? Like, I'll just be in a situation where something will kind of tie in to the previous abuse or the previous situations that I had been in as a child.
And then just a few neurons light up.
Yeah. And they snap back, and I can't tell them to go away. So you can only imagine what happens if that's done to you. But like, mine stopped at 17. You know what I mean? I can't imagine what would happen or what I would have been if that abuse or those situations stemmed all the way into me being like 25, 26 years old.
So you feel like killers are made?
Like I said, I feel like I fall right on the middle, right?
I feel like both can be true.
Yeah. I feel like because there are instances of like, what is it? BTK, bind, torture, kill, the BTK killer.
Yeah.
I think he had like a wonderful childhood. If I remember correctly, like we'll cover him at some point in time, but I'm pretty sure he had like a very good childhood, and his parents were normal, average workers that loved their kids, that did nothing to them wrong. And he still just fucking turned out to be a crazy serial killer, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's instances of kids who just they're just wired wrong, and so they do turn out horrible. You know what I mean? They always try to pin it on something, though. They always try to pin it on, like, I can't remember which serial killer did it, but he was like porn. I think it was BTK. I think BTK was like pornography did it to me. He's seen like fucking I
watched porn once, and now all of a sudden, like every time I go outside, I got all these Asian women puking in my mouth.
Yeah, but he saw like bindings and stuff. You know what I mean? Like binding.
I need that visual. All right, thanks.
But he saw like binding sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what's the shit called again?
Bondage.
I couldn't think for a minute. But yeah, he saw like bondage porn, right? And he said that it fucked him up. So I think it's just like the notorious years that Clarnell just caused all those issues with Edmund. I don't think she gets to escape the reality of her doing, right? I don't think that you were killed, but you created that monster, right? Like, I think she's partly to blame for the other girl's demise. And I know
that's fair. Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah. But I've listened to a lot of podcasts and they let her off the hook. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, we're not going to victim shame. We're going to, you know what I mean? Like, it's a tragic ending, but it's not a tragic ending. That bitch is the reason that he had as many issues as he did.
Talk shit, get hit.
Yeah.
So what happens?
Pretty much.
All right.
Yeah. And sometimes
I'm probably going to get hit. Somebody's going to come up and hit me now.
Yeah.
Talking shit.
But
I'm just saying, talk shit, get hit.
She doesn't get to escape that, in my opinion. That's just my opinion of it. And somebody might not like it, but I don't think she gets to walk away from that shit. She created that.
I mean, it's not always the case, but there are situations where I feel like it definitely contributed a lot. And I think if you just lock up a child like that, I mean, I couldn't even imagine. And I've seen some shit, you know. I wasn't abused and my life wasn't unfair, but I will say it wasn't easy. And I was, I guess, kind of teamed up with the people who didn't have the easiest of lives, you know, because I guess a lot like greasers, I guess, you know. And so I've seen people who had it way worse than I did. And man, a lot of them turned out all right. A lot of them are in jail.
There's probably a lot of stuff you didn't see with a lot of those people.
Oh, for sure.
So,
for sure.
Let's talk about this note.
This note, dated approximately 5:15 a.m. Saturday, conveyed Kemper's intention to spare his mother further suffering at the hands of this murderous butcher. He asserted that the act was swift and deliberate, just as he intended, without messiness. Lies? But this was a note to...
this is a note he left at the crime scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
To deceive the police officers.
All right.
He justified it by stating he had things to do and insinuated a lack of time. So he's starting to come down off that high. You know,
Chasing
finally
the dragon.
killed the final boss and losing motivation.
Gotta wait for that DLC.
Post these horrifying events, Kemper fled the scene, embarking on a non-stop drive to Pueblo, Colorado, fueled by caffeine pills to stay awake during the over 1,000-mile journey. Armed with 3 guns and an abundance of ammunition, he believed he was being pursued. Well, maybe if the cops, went to the house and find the note, they might be looking for you. Despite initially dismissing his confession, the police took him seriously after a second call to a personally known officer. This led to his capture and subsequent confessions regarding the murders of his mother, Hallett, and 6 students. In a later interview, Kemper explained his decision to turn himself in, stating that the initial purpose behind his actions had dissipated. He's coming down off that high, no more motivation. He acknowledged the horrifying acts served no real purpose and were merely just a waste of time. Emotionally drained and on the verge of collapse, he chose to end his ordeal.
And he called the cops twice, so I didn't cover it. But he called the cops and tried to turn himself in. He was like, hey, I'm the co-ed killer, And they were just like, oh, Ed. You know what I mean? Oh, Ed, stop it.
It's just too much, Ed. It's just Ed. He's got a gun. He's got his gun in the trunk, but we don't need to see it.
Yeah.
He's just drunk. He drinks with it all the time. He's fine.
They dismissed him, and he had to call back and say, hey, can you put so-and-so on the phone? I can't remember the cop's name, but he asked for one of the cops he knew personally. And then he had to tell him information about the killings that weren't, because they do hide certain things from the public. Exactly.
Stuff only a killer would know.
Yeah. So he had to release information to that police officer that wasn't public knowledge for that cop to be like, oh, wait a minute, Ed, where are you at? And he was like, I'm over here. I'm just going to sit down on this corner and wait for you guys. And he did. He just had a seat and waited on him.
I got my own recovered bullets and my mother's vocal cords to prove it.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much, man. I mean, he's something else, man. Ed definitely, like I said, but you can tell it was after his mother that he kind of was just like, shit, you know what I mean? I should have killed my mom. Because he did, when he wrote the note, he said he planned on leaving to go start up the killings again somewhere else. And then he said that on the drive, he kind of was just like, I don't know if I really have it in me anymore. You know what I mean?
Scratched that itch that he didn't know was an itch.
Exactly.
Well, let's get into this trial that he had, because there's some very interesting tidbits in here that I'd like to argue.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on May 7th, 1973, Kemper faced 8 counts of first-degree murder, leading to an indictment. Santa Cruz County's chief public defender, attorney Jim Jackson, was assigned to represent him. Due to Kemper's detailed and explicit confession, his defense's only recourse was to plead not guilty by reason of insanity. While in custody, Kemper attempted suicide twice. His trial proceeded on October 23rd, 1973. He had to kill himself.
I don't believe it.
But when Kemper was a little kid with his sisters, he used to play a game that he called Gas Chamber. And he used to like to pretend that he was getting murdered in a gas chamber. And so during his trial, he actually on multiple occasions asked to be killed, either by firing squad or gas chamber. He wanted to die. The judge being, I guess, a smart move, he denied all of it. They didn't put him on trial for the death penalty. Well, which also I think was gone in California at that point in time.
Yeah. I believe it got abolished or at least temporarily.
Yeah. California is not into killing. This would have been Texas. He'd have been dead.
Not guilty by reason of insanity did not go through. 3 court-appointed psychiatrists affirmed his legal sanity. Dr. Joel Fort, one of the psychiatrists, delved into Kemper's juvenile records and a previous diagnosis of psychosis. Fort interviewed Kemper, including administering truth serum. Truth serum? It just don't work. Revealing that Kemper had engaged in cannibalism, claiming he sliced flesh from his victim's legs, cooked, and consumed it in a casserole. Human casserole.
That's the least crazy thing to me if you're butchering my body like that.
Long pig lasagna.
A little bit of long pig. Like, if you're going to, you're cutting off steaks and you're not
I
eating
totally
it.
forgot long pig was a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Long pig.
Oh my God.
Long pig
a
lasagna,
little bit of
man.
stretched bacon.
Anyway, nonetheless, Fort concluded that Kemper was fully aware of his actions in each case and seemed to relish the infamy linked with being identified as a murderer. Kemper later retracted his confession to cannibalism. Oh, okay. So, no, I didn't have long pig casserole.
It was probably just a nibble, Like, how much of a human do you
He
have
probably
to,
just chewed on it and then spat it back out.
How much would I have to eat before I'm considered a cannibal?
Yeah.
I would say one bite.
One bite?
That's my personal opinion. I'd say if you immediately intake human flesh, I think you're a cannibal.
What would you call a bite?
I think if you swallow it, you're a cannibal. If you take a bite out of somebody, that could be like, self-defense.
Well, it's also like, are you a forced cannibal, or did you do it by intention? Right? Because
I would be a survival cannibal. It would be a survival situation.
who was the hot dog guy?
The hot
Shit.
dog. What about
Glizzy?
the
Glizzy
guys in
Overdrive?
the don't no the soccer players in the mountains that were
Oh, I love
stranded
that story.
for-
Yeah, they were eating the seat
for
and shit.
months
They were up there for
They ate the we'll cover that.
before they started eating
Yeah.
each other.
We will talk about that for sure.
But
But
guess what? The people who ate, other people lived.
and we'll have to talk about
Oh,
the
yeah.
guy that made hot dogs too, because he made hot dogs and he was a murderer. And to get rid of the bodies,
butcher, he made burgers.
yeah, he made burgers and hot dogs using their flesh
he's a
and
big old
sold
boy.
them. He sold them too.
Oh, that ain't nothing.
And
So-
he looks like the kind of guy that would do that
Not
kind of
the
stuff.
first guy to do that.
And the terrible part we'll go over when we get there is like people said his burgers and hot dogs were phenomenal, and they went back to him on multiple occasions.
Oh, I hear human tastes pretty good.
So the old long pig.
the German sausages that were made out of people were pretty good. We'll get into that guy,
Especially if
too.
you're if you're on a mountain.
Human
and your
schnitzels?
choice, if your
Human
choice is
schnitzel.
between the leather
Schnitzel.
covering and the cotton of your airplane seat or Steve,
Would you
Yeah.
have some
I'm
schnitzel,
sure
David?
Steve tastes fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I will definitely get into the cannibalism topic. Like I said, I definitely want to delve into all the morbidity of
Well, we
some of
already
these
did that
cases.
a few episodes ago.
Yeah. It was like episode 115?
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere.
You guys will have to look.
394.
394. That was it.
Anyway, in California, the M. Naughton standard was utilized, requiring proof that at the time of the act, the defendant suffered from a severe mental defect and did not understand the nature and quality of their actions or recognize them as wrong.
Yeah.
Kemper seemed to comprehend the wrongful nature of his acts, displaying signs of malice aforethought. Yeah, he fucking knew what he was doing.
100%.
On November 1st, Kemper testified during the trial. He stated that he killed the victims because he wanted to possess them for himself. He aimed to convince the jury that he was insane, arguing that only someone with a disturbed mind could commit such actions. Yeah, only
That's
someone
fair.
with a disturbed mind can commit such actions. But disturbed mind and legally insane are not the same thing.
Yeah.
According to him, two distinct personalities inhabited his body, and the killer personality would take over, causing sort of a blackout. Here's what I've got a problem with. You've got two personalities. One's a killer.
They're usually
and you've
not
got-
aware of them.
And you've got no control over that. Well, I mean, you've got the body and you're looking to head out in the yard. Is it the killer? How long are you blacked out for? Months? All the time?
Yeah.
So it's always the killer? So, or is the innocent non-killer out there look at the head and be like, oh, what did I do?
I think I heard a study the other day. Like every brain and body pretty much, like you have
I think it's
multiple consciousnesses inside you that are kind of like all vying for that front. Kind of like people with personality disorders, but like the personality disorder is like kind of like the extreme body function of it, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right. There are some people not diagnosed with
Multiple personality
multiple
disorder.
personalities, but the people who are diagnosed with it, guess how they found out? They woke up in places they weren't familiar. They woke up tired.
I was
they were
gonna
wearing
say,
stuff
yeah.
they hadn't been. So if you're not somewhere where you remember you blacked out, you go seek professional help. And if you don't, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. People with MPD usually don't know they have MPD. It's usually like a loved one or waking up somewhere incorrectly. Like they're usually not aware that they have a different personality inside. I know some of them may be, right? Because there are cases of people who like talk to their.
There are cases.
Yeah, there's people who talk to like their different personality in a mirror.
He attested that he knew that he had a killer personality. So why wouldn't you stop that? If you're allowing yourself to kill something because it's my other personality,
Could just be his way of trying to cope, so he feels like a less of a piece of shit to himself.
I think he's full of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it was just my dark personality. He just got out of control.
I think he was biding for another trip to a state hospital so he could try to be quote unquote rehabilitated again.
I agree with that. From what I've heard of it, I do feel like he tried to get out of it, but then just kind of gave up and was just like, maybe I'm a piece of shit and the world is a better place with me. Just not out there choking pretty college girls to death.
Yeah, he flips the script really quick. Like during his trial, he really pushed the insanity stuff. And then the minute they actually just like lock him up and find him guilty, then all of a sudden he's like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about everything. Who wants to talk about all my murders? You want me to go over it? How I felt, where I was, you know what I mean? Like how I handled this situation.
It's over. I might as well come clean.
Exactly. He does. He comes clean about everything.
Anyway, so yeah, the jury didn't buy that bullshit. On November 8, 1973, a jury consisting of 6 men and 6 women deliberated for 5 whole hours before declaring Kemper sane and guilty on all counts. He requested the death penalty, asking for death by torture. However, due to a moratorium on capital punishment in California, he received 7 years to life for each count to be served concurrently. He was sentenced to California Medical Facility in Vacaville. He's done. It's over.
7 to life. Okay. God.
Yeah. And I mean,
he was sentenced them to be served concurrently.
I know, just
Not
throwing the 7
consecutively?
in there.
yeah, it's that 7. Well,
That's
back then,
Like-
20 years was life, was it not?
I mean, technically, yeah.
I think 20 years
20
was
to
considered
life.
life.
They were
But-
all to be served out concurrently. That means all 7 of them were being
Yeah, back to
at
back.
the same time. That'd be consecutively,
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be consecutively. Concurrently would be,
all at once. So after 7
you
years,
could
it
do
would
all
be
7 years
out.
at the same time. But it's just the fact that it'd be up for parole, like, why is that even an option?
Yeah, I feel like nowadays they remove that, right? Like if you get
Well, now it's like 20 to life.
Well, what I'm saying, like if you go in now and you're like, hey, you know, this guy killed like 8 people, they usually just come in and they go, you're going to get 275 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
they just come
Now it
in
is
and
basically
delete you
absurd.
with
Yeah.
years. Yeah. They don't even say it. Like there's actually an argument.
Dozens of life.
There's an argument by people for that now. Like where they used to, a lot of people tend to like the time where they used to come in and go, you're going to get 7 to 25 years per person. And they felt, I guess they ingested that sentence a lot easier than a judge coming in and going, for all these counts of murder, you're going to get 275 years. And then for the vehicular manslaughter, you're going to get 325 years. Like, I don't think they like the judge coming in and handing out, 400 years worth of sentencing. Some people think it's like, why even say those numbers? But
Yeah, I want the judge to just absolutely roast them and dunk on them, dude.
Yeah, I do
just
too.
want him to just be like, you're a fucking idiot. You ain't getting out, you clown. You ain't going nowhere.
yeah, you're done.
We're
This is
putting
it.
you in a box for the rest of your life until you're dead,
Yeah.
idiot.
You're dying in that box, man. You're not coming back out, period. But as we'll get into his imprisonment here in just a second. But what you're going to find out is Kemper actually, he lived it up in prison. I think he's still living it up in prison. If I remember correctly, Kemper does audiobooks or Audible. So I'm pretty sure you can go out and look up fantasy novels and stuff that are read by Edmund Kemper. I'm sure he goes under a moniker, but yeah, he does audiobooks and stuff.
And the valiant hero decapitated the dragon, and then he
Oh
put
my-
the dragon in his garden with the head facing up toward his window. So every night when he would go out and look at the stars, he'd see the decapitated, decaying head of the dragon.
oh my
He'd
God.
say, I'm your daddy. I'm your god.
Oh my God.
Mommy didn't love me.
Well, maybe you need to be re-diagnosed like Kemper was.
There's tons of things I should have probably been diagnosed for.
Yeah,
me
he
too.
arrived at the California Medical Facility in 1973 following his trial, underwent a reevaluation, and received a diagnosis of antisocial, narcissistic, and schizotypal personality disorders.
What's that last one?
Probably something to do with auditory hallucinations, maybe.
Schizotypal? Schizophrenia.
Okay.
Yeah, like my dad, paranoid schizophrenic. So, I mean, they hear schizophrenic people have there's a pretty wide spectrum. I don't want to try to like go over schizophrenia too much just because of the fact that people get really serious when it comes to talking about disorders. But like not all schizophrenic people have any violent tendencies, of course. You know what I mean? But there's a very wide range, like audio cues and visual cues.
Well, without going too deep into it, like why throw paranoid in there? You know, if I'm hearing things and I'm seeing things and I'm not concerned about it.
So there are people who are schizophrenic who aren't paranoid. They just, you know what I mean? Like they'll just like,
those hallucinations again. Oh, yep.
Well, I mean, they'll just kind of think they heard something, right? But then you have people like, you know, like my father who was paranoid schizophrenic.
Oh, nothing. Okay.
Yeah. And he actually would like get paranoid over hearing things. You know what I mean?
Think like things are, people are conspiring against him or like, like breaking in.
Yeah. He would come in and like yell at me and friends and stuff. Like, did you guys say this? And you're like, huh? You know what I mean? Like I didn't even know what the fuck you were talking about.
Your mother would come in like, guys, could keep it down. Your dad's kind of a little nervous today.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get them all riled up.
Yeah. So
loud yelling and screaming.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, schizophrenia is a bad shit to get stuck with, man. That's gotta fucking suck. I mean, but a lot of people can control it. You know what I mean? Like if my dad would have took his medicine correctly, you know, then he may have had a better chance with the schizophrenia.
While incarcerated at the California Medical Facility, Kemper shared a prison blog with people such as Herbert Mullen and Charles Manson. Kemper stated he disliked Mullen, who committed murders around the same time and area as Kemper. He described Mullen as a senseless killer. Kemper manipulated and intimidated Mullen, engaging in behavior modification tactics.
Peanuts. So Kemper actually trained Herbert Mullen to react when Kemper gave him peanuts. So he said Mullen would sing all the time and it pissed him off. So to get Herbert Mullen to shut the fuck up, he trained him and gave him peanuts. So he would go out there and be like, you know, hey Herbert, if you're good, I'm gonna give you some peanuts. And Herbert would be like, okay, peanuts.
He's seen that on The Office. They're obviously allowed to watch The Office.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
before it came out.
I'm pretty sure The Office may have seen it from Kemper.
Because it was Jim would have that like a little dog clicker, like those things for training dogs go, and he would click it, and every time he would do that, he'd give his coworker like a mint just to fuck with them.
Yeah.
So and then like every time he got used to hearing the thing, he'd just kind of like, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's just like,
"I suspect you were going to give me a mint."
You bastard! I see what you've done to me. You've trained me like a dog.
They say Kemper remains within the general prison population and is regarded as a model prisoner. He was responsible for scheduling other inmates' appointments with psychiatrists and excelled as a ceramics craftsman. Ceramics?
Yeah.
Knives out of ceramics.
You make a nice clay head. Put that in the kiln.
Yeah.
You think they let him take that back to his cell?
Fuck no, they wouldn't.
He also contributed significantly to charity programs by narrating audiobooks for the visually impaired. However, he retired from these positions in 2015 after experiencing a stroke and being declared medically disabled. He received his first rules violation report in 2016 for failing to provide a urine sample. He's got to be old at this point. Maybe he just couldn't pee. Typically, they should have just given him some water, waited 30 minutes, get him to pee.
I mean, when you're in jail for the rest of your life, what are they worried about? Drugs?
Yeah, he's 74 right now.
Well, let's drug test this old man. Make sure he's not in prison doing any drugs.
74 years old and 6'9".
You telling me he ain't got prostate problems where you got to pee all the time?
Oh, yeah.
Ain't that big? Come on, man.
I can guarantee you that he does have problems.
He's a model prisoner.
He certainly
At
is.
74 years old, do you even give a shit anymore? When they come in and go pee in this cup and you're like, I don't feel like fucking peeing.
I don't know. My grandpa passed away when he was like 80, 81, and he was ready to go.
You're
like
telling
years
me.
before.
Yeah.
Like a year. He was just, I'm ready. Like, what are y'all crying for?
You're telling me he was a model prisoner for 43 years and then fails to provide a urine sample?
Yeah.
It's probably because of stroke. He didn't have brain power to
It had to have been
be on
something.
command.
Exactly.
Maybe. Yeah, he just had
They
a
were
Gary
just
Busey
looking
moment,
for
maybe.
excuses. On November 17th, 2011, while he was in prison as pre-stroke, Kemper participated in various interviews shedding light on the mind of serial killers. FBI profiler John Douglas characterized Kemper as one of the most intelligent inmates he had encountered, with a rare insight into the psyche of a violent criminal. He added that he personally found Kemper amiable, describing him as open, sensitive, and possessing a good sense of humor. Creepy.
Yeah, they enjoyed him. Like I said, they enjoyed him all the time,
Creepy.
man. If you've never
He's
watched
a killer, but, he's a fun guy to talk to.
If you've never watched Mindhunter on Netflix, I personally suggest you watch Mindhunter on Netflix, just because the longest basis of that show falls around John Douglas and them going in to interview Edmund Kemper. I mean, yeah, they said he was a very nice fella to sit and talk with.
Let's get him on the phone.
Just call Kemper up. Hey, we got some questions.
Yeah, he willingly discussed the nature of his crimes during his interviews, expressing a desire to prevent others from committing similar acts. He's the only one allowed to do it. Nobody else.
That's why
Nobody
he
else
doesn't
gets
like
to do
the other
this stuff.
killers.
Like I said, I think he really did over the years come to notice, like, I should have just fucking killed my bitch of a mom. I'm pretty sure he's said that multiple times. Like,
Or
he
just gotten
realized-
away from her, like the doctors say.
yeah, or just gotten away from her.
Well, you didn't. Maybe just
Hindsight's 2020.
not even killed her. Just like ran away and not gone to your grandparents' house and just ran away from there
what really
too.
would have showed her is you go to college, you get a career, you find a lady, you settle down, you have a successful family, and you just tell your mom, fuck you.
Yeah, look at me. I got a super hot
Yeah.
wife, Mom.
Look what I
Fuck
did.
you.
Look, I let my kids run around the yard. Free range.
Free range children.
Free range
Children, mommy, and they ain't diddling their sisters.
He emphasized the importance of seeking help for those struggling with violent urges in his interviews. He also had an interview with French writer Stephanie. Oh, wow. I can't even say her name.
We're going, maybe?
Edie
I don't know. It's
Megadoodle?
French.
We're going?
It's probably not pronounced like that. but
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, fuck it. We're going with that.
This interview was in 1991, way before his interview with FBI profiler John Douglas. Anyway, Kemper became eligible for parole in 1979. So this is before his 7 years was up.
Yeah, he quit in 73. Was his last murder?
Yeah. And well, he was sentenced to 7, eligible for parole in 1979. He was consistently denied parole in subsequent years. Thank God. He waived his right to hearings at times and attended them at others. Kind of, oh, I'm going to go to this hearing today. I woke up. I don't feel like going to it today. No, not going to go to my hearing. Facing denial due to the gravity of his crimes. As of now, his next parole eligibility is in 2024, having been denied parole in 2017. Let's see if he decides to go to this one.
I doubt it. See, the U.S. is very different,
You
though.
spend that many years in prison, you might as well just say fuck it and end it there.
We'll see, like, Canadians, man, they let you out by now. The fucking Canadians, even if you killed 20 fucking people, they'll let you out by now. And I hate to put it that way, but they're fucking notorious for that shit.
Well, it's a country full of cannibals.
Canadians are cannibals, is what we're saying.
That's one thing I've just kind of been saying. I don't trust them up there. They're
Yeah.
Hey, did you
nice.
try my long pig? My long pig casserole.
Telling you, that's where the Wendigo comes from, man. They're Canadian Wendigos.
Canadian Wendigos.
Eat that long pig like Kobayashi.
Nom, 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 nom.
Nom, nom.
So,
No
all
sauce.
right. All right. So, what are your guys' closing thoughts on Edmund Kemper? What do you guys think of old Edmund?
Honestly, not as bad as it could have been. Could have been a lot worse.
Could have went on to kill for a lot longer.
If his mom didn't say, "Oh, now you're gonna talk all night," it could have been a lot worse. Definitely not as bad of a serial killer as some of the people I've heard about. Still, piece of shit serial killer.
For me, he has to be covered just for the fact that he helped with so many the modern day techniques we use now in criminal profiling. I think Edmund has to be covered just because of that aspect. But I mean, every serial killer is a piece of shit, right? And Edmund's a piece of shit, just like the rest of them. But at the end of the day, like, there's a part of me just from my childhood that makes me fucking feel really bad for some of their fucking upbringings. You know what I mean? Coming from a terrible household and you have your parents treating you like that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
That's some shit, man. Right?
Like, hearing the childhood does make me feel for him, but once you start strangling women,
Yeah. Then you kind of go
I
outside
kind of
that.
lose all respect. Like, I don't
Exactly.
respect the guy, but I am kind of. It's weird. It's a weird feeling. Like, I don't respect him, but I'm appreciative of like the insight.
That's what we don't do very well
What he
as a
offers.
human nowadays, right? People will see somebody commit a heinous crime, and then they'll never find any empathy for their
You got to
previous
be a critical
situations.
thinker. You got to try to think of why. Put yourself in other people's shoes. Try to figure out why they make their decisions they make.
I'm very good at seeing both sides of stuff and everything. However, having empathy, yeah, it sucked for him, but he still did what he did.
True.
Yeah.
Yep. You got to pay.
Doesn't excuse it.
Yep.
No. By all means, it doesn't excuse it, but I still think that we're allowed as human beings to have some empathy for his childhood. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, empathy is an opinion. You're allowed to empathize with him. I'm not going to.
yeah, no. It's very much like I said. It's based on the people. Like, I feel empathy up. I feel
the
empathy for the
childhood stuff.
child. That's the hard part
That's
for me,
fair.
right?
That's how I feel.
Sub 18 years old, I have empathy for him because
feel
he
bad
was
for the
not in
child
control.
That was locked in the basement and
Yeah.
abused. All right. Now the man he grew up into, I have no respect for though.
Exactly.
But
Maybe give him off killing his grandmother. Okay, yeah, Granny's
Granny's
a
rare.
bitch. Gonna kill her. Killing the grandfather, completely uncalled for.
I mean, it's pretty rare though that they want to cooperate on like the level that he does. Like, here's what I thought. Here's what I felt. Here's why. And you don't really get that out of a lot of crazy people who just go around murdering people.
No,
Usually
no,
they're
most of them hold it for themselves.
They're
It's
just
like their power, their story. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they don't want to give it up. They're like, if you want to experience what I experienced, you
still
better go
dancing.
fucking do it your own
they're
self.
still dancing around the facts, trying like, I didn't do it. What
Yeah,
are you talking about?
yeah, exactly. But Kemper was just like, I fucked up and let's talk about it. So
Yeah, let's have a little chat. Let me open that door for you.
well, I don't think it was a bad episode. So if you did stick around this long, I would like to just say thank you and I appreciate it. And we will see you guys again next week.
Next week we teach you how to make long pig casserole.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you join us again. Until then, may your nights be restless and your dreams haunted. And beware the things that go bump in the night.